Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to Create the Casual. I'm your host, Three Cups, and joining me as always is the fantabulously scrumdiddly-umptious Orky Ted.
Jesus Christ.
How you doing, Dev?
I'm
You
here.
tasty piece of man.
All right, we are wrapping up the show early. Good night, everybody.
Oh, that was fast.
Yep.
Right. Makes sense. All right, see you later. Okay.
Bye.
All right. Now, how are you?
I'm all right. You?
I'm doing pretty good. Like, this was an interesting week. Very bored, but otherwise, I mean, overall, not with the movies. But yeah, I'm excited to get everything started. So, with that being said, let's just get on in here. Let's start talking about this week's movies, which I have dubbed this week Adoption Lottery. It'll make sense later. Because we're watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah. Anything you wanna? Any last words before you sign the contract that is this show?
Let's just get into it.
All right. We're getting into it. We're gonna start talking about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which, interestingly enough, came out a lot earlier than I remember. If I'm being completely honest. Like, this movie came out in 1971, correct? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering if you were gonna run away with the
No.
intro part of that. I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just say all the stats and, like, surprise everybody.
Like, okay. All right.
No.
Go for it. Pop off. But no, never mind. Fine. June. What do you mean by early? It's June 30th of 1971.
For some reason, I don't know why. Probably because I watched this in the 90s. I was like, this was made in the 90s, right?
No.
No.
Though, sad news on this one. Budget of $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. opening. It made $526 million. Gross U.S. $526 million. Worldwide, $527 million.
This is a movie for Americans by Americans.
Was it though? It didn't get viewed very much in theaters. It's well then made more of its money back since then, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Because it's a classic now.
I need to see one thing real. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I was curious about an actor. There's a lot of things going through my mind. Like, part of me wants to just get right down into the main part of the discussion, but another part of me is just like, let's just spread it out a little bit. This movie, watching it again, I thought was really interesting. I was kind of bored, and there were definitely a bunch of moments that I questioned. But all in all, it exists.
Do you not like this?
No, I do. But the part that I'm conflicted on is how religious this movie feels to me. Like, every part of this movie has a religious connotation. Where Willy Wonka is God, and the kids are all, including Willy Wonka and Grandpa, are all one of the 7 deadly sins. And like, Slugworth is supposed to be the devil's advocate type thing, but is really an angel in disguise. Like, that's the part of this movie I don't like. Is how it feels like a very big religious allegory for Christianity. Like, once you get past that, it's fun and wacky and entertaining, yeah. I'll watch it again for sure. I'll just ignore the religious stuff. Maybe. Probably not.
I got none of that.
You got none of that at all?
I'm not a religious person, so.
Yeah. Like, It to me, I 100% that Willy Wonka was God. That Augustus was gluttony, Veruca Salt was greed, Violet, you're turning violet is pride. Mike TV. This one was a little hard for me to place, but I ultimately placed him as our version of sloth because he'd much rather sit in front of a television all day. Not that I blame him or anything. Charlie was lust. Grandpa is envy, and then Wonka is wrath. But also a trickster. So that's the part that I found fun. Was how tricksy he was. Definitely a god I'd create. If I was gonna create gods.
I got none of that, so
What did you get from this movie, Dev? Hit me with it.
got what I've always got. It's just a kids movie
I mean,
that is enjoyable.
I mean, it is rated G, but it's a creepy G.
There is the tunnel's always great. That's always one of the best parts. Oh, this movie's just wacky. Like there's not really a plot to it. It's just a come see these cool things that we made for this movie kind of movie. It's an excuse to film something.
It can be. I mean, I also got like a bunch of other things too, where like obviously there was our 7 deadly sins. There's there was repentance in the fact that like all Charlie had to do to ultimately win the day is be like, I'm sorry, Mr. Wonka, here's your candy back, and leave. Like, not argue, not complain, just be like, I apologize for my bad deeds, I repent for my sins, and then he wins. I mean, there's also other weird symbolism stuff too, like Wonka's room at the end and its decor and design, as well as the choice of music, like the music lock that he plays. I'm not 100% sure why, but the song that he plays to open the door was like The Marriage of Figaro, which is not it. He said in the movie it was a different composer than it was. I had to look this up because I'm not good at my music history. But I could place it. I was like, I know that song. That's The Marriage of Figaro overture. And yeah, that song. I was like, I was trying to figure out why that was important, and that I just gave that up after a while. One question I actually have for you is, what was your opinions of the Oompa Loompas?
I mean, they exist.
Is it an insult, or is it inclusive in this instance with this movie, I guess is the question.
I don't know exactly what like I don't know. That's a tough question.
It is. I'm going deep in this movie
because okay, my thought process would be more on how much they get paid. Like it would go off of like what they got paid was like for what they had to do. I guess. And did no one at the time feel really insulted by it? Because someone's gonna feel insulted by everything, but like it's more of a was it widely unaccepted kind of thing.
I hear you. I won't pry into that any further. I'll let it be because it's based on the criteria that you stated there. I can't really dig into it. I can't be like, well, this guy made this much money and this guy made this much money, and compare it to the other actors at this time. They like no, I didn't look that far into the question. I wasn't prepared.
I'm sorry. There's not much I can go off of with just being said. Hey, what did you like? What did you think of this? And I'm like, I mean, they're fucking Oompa Loompas. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. They're minions before minions existed.
Don't degrade Oompa Loompas like that.
Okay, they're better than minions.
Duh.
Only other thing that I want to complain about is our main character of Peter Ostrom as Charlie. Well, he can't sing, so I don't know why they would hire him in a musical.
Eh, just cause.
Let it be, I guess. Like listening to him and his singing. This is the only movie he's ever done, by the way. Looking at
I
his
know.
filmography here,
Yeah.
that I did not know, but it makes sense.
I don't know, man. The movie didn't do well and stuff, so it didn't exactly have
Mm-hmm.
the chance for a promising career after it.
Oh, and also there's a little bit of costume mistakes where some of the Oompa Loompas, their hands weren't painted. It wasn't all of them, but like you could see it when they're doing flips and stuff. Like they would stop right at their wrist here, and then the rest of their hands would just be normal skin color. Let's see.
I don't know. This movie, like, has always had a spot in my brain.
Mm-hmm. It's very nostalgic for sure, because I definitely grew up watching this a couple of times in music and in bands and just with my own parents. Or parent, I should say.
Yeah.
um,
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just what it is.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing else. Well, I got one other question. How do you feel the visual design of the movie? Because I felt it was very Dr. Seussy. Like they made a bunch of their graphics and their things inspired by Dr. Seuss.
I mean, yes, 100%.
So, and that's something I wanted to try and compare to later in the next movie, but we'll talk about that in a second. So,
This one feels more like alive. I do like the color of it. Like, there's just, I guess most of my thoughts on this movie actually come from the next movie.
I hear you.
Because there's a lot of like life to this one.
I agree. One thing that I wanted to talk about, and we'll compare it a little bit more in the next in the spoiler section. We'll do like a compare and contrast of the two movies, since they're the same movie, just 40 years apart. But this movie develops a world, and it shows us what's happening other than just to our main character and what's going on around that stuff. And it's got this quirkiness that I enjoy, where like we actually get to see more. We get to experience what's going on. Like there's a whole scene in there, like it doesn't matter to the plot of this movie at all, but there's literally a scene where a woman's like, I just want my husband back. Well, the people are ransoming your husband for the last crate of candy bars that you own. Like, candy bars? Like, that's the state.
Damn, it's your husband.
Yeah, that's the state that this world is in. And it's like, that's awesome that they established that this world is not necessarily falling apart, but they're going to such extremes where a woman's like, I'll do anything for my husband, anything. I gotta think about giving up my crate of candy, though.
What if it's got the golden ticket?
Yeah, it might. It's Schrodinger's ticket. It's Schrodinger's chocolate bar.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things that, like, if the other one didn't exist, my thoughts on this would probably be not necessarily less, but like I wouldn't have as much to say about it. And I haven't said a lot about it yet. Don't worry, I'll get there. Building up to it, because a lot of what I need to say stems from the problems I have with the next one. But again, it's a kids movie. Like, for me, it's just, it's goofy, it's silly. It's colorful and it's vibrant, and it's just, it's a good distraction for the kids. That was a good crunch. The audio listeners are gonna love that.
I bet. It tasted delicious too. It wasn't meant to be in the microphone. My bad.
That's why I'm calling it out, because you did it. You were like, I watched it happen. You were kind of like this without realizing it, looking at your notes, and it was like as in the mic as it could have been.
I mean, the mic's literally like almost a foot away from my mouth.
That's why most people do this with the mic, because if you do it behind this, it's a little bit more Joel. Hey, guess look at that, it works. God damn it, Steven. But I don't know, man. Like, there's not a lot to say about this that hasn't already been said.
Of course.
It's
I mean, it's a
goddamn
50-year-old movie.
Yeah.
It's literally almost 50 years old.
Yeah. God damn. So again, it's just I think most of my comments come from the fact that that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory happened, and we'll go over that.
One last question I have. Throwaway question. What did you think of the Tinkerer, aka the traveling I have meat cleavers on my cart salesman?
The traveling murder machine?
Yes.
That is always going to be the point of the movie where I have to stop and go, what is this man's business?
Yes.
What dystopian future is this from the 70s?
Yeah, I literally before they explained that he's the Tinkerer, I wrote down creepy traveling cleaver murder man.
Do they call him the Tinkerer?
Yes, he's credited as the Tinkerer too in IMDb.
I didn't know they called him that. I just always assumed that he was just the weird old man.
Hope.
Because, like, legitimately, like, every time I see that, I'm like, all right. And I try to see what other weapons I've missed on there. Like, this time I saw, like, a couple of extra weapons. I'm like, oh, I didn't notice that one was there. Oh, and that one's there, too.
You could probably find some, like, old movie that's like a Charlie Chaplin prop or, like, I don't know, some other movie reference in there.
No, there's none. It's all weapons.
A movie
It's all
weapons.
blades. What Charlie Chaplin movie had blades in it?
I don't know. Just trying to think of an old movie, and Charlie Chaplin was the first thing that popped to mind.
When I'm talking about blades,
Yeah,
the first
he
movie
probably sword fought
is
somebody.
When?
I don't know.
If you're thinking weapons, then maybe Zorro.
Oh, there was weapons in films before Zorro.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm not talking about like the recent Zorro. I'm talking about the old Zorro. Not
like there's 30 years of movies minimum before this point.
I'm not okay. Yes, I'm just naming a movie with a weapon in it, not Charlie Chaplin, like you did. If anything, you're proving my point.
Fine. I'll just let it go. Honestly, I got really nothing else to talk about on this movie. So you want your popcorn kernels?
Yeah, I'll take my popcorn
Fine,
kernels.
your 10 popcorn kernels. What do you rate this movie at?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
Cool. I'm giving
That's
it
a child
6.5.
points.
Without the child point, it's a 7.5. With the child point, it's a 7.5. So, because it's rated G. Hooray for child point.
Well, it could be a rated G movie, not directed at kids.
I don't believe you anymore. It doesn't exist.
It can be done.
I'm just picturing like an adult G-rated film. It's all about. Oh, I was about to say it's Winnie the Pooh. So it's an adult trying to become a kid again, and I need to see what was Christopher Robin rated.
It was PG.
All right.
I remember correctly.
Rated PG. Okay. Because I figured that's an adult movie that's not rated PG-13 and up. I'll give that one. But yeah.
Fair.
All right. I guess we're done here with this movie for now.
For the moment.
For the moment. We'll contrast it later. But we're moving on. Movie number 2. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Hit me with those deeds.
Okay, here we go. It released July 15th, 2005, with a budget of $150 million. It made $56 million U.S. opening, $206 million gross U.S., and $474 million worldwide. I don't like this movie.
Rewatching this movie, yeah, it was kind of I didn't like it much either.
Did you like this originally?
Yes, actually.
I've never liked this one. And my main reasons are it's cold.
Cold.
The entire movie feels cold.
Okay.
Even the room that is supposed to be the bright, colorful room that everyone knows from the first one, the original.
Yeah, the room. Yeah, everyone knows.
The room. You walk into it in here, and it's dark. It's dull. It's bland. All the rooms just feel cold to me as you walk through this, like you go through the factory. The movie itself, like even outside is cold. Like at least in the other one, even outside had color to it. It felt vibrant in some ways. Everything in this movie to me is just dull and cold. And it never feels alive.
Like, I don't quite agree with that point, but
when does it feel alive to you?
Through most of the movie because of Tim Burton. Like, me watching this movie, I saw like quirkiness and zaniness, and one of the things I really liked about this movie was actually the cinematography, where things were framed and how a lot of the images looked per scene. They were well constructed. Like a lot of moments I saw, I was like, damn, I would pause that and stare at it for a while because I like the way this is all structured together. Even when it came to like just a close up of the 9 of them standing next to each other on the river, and it was just a close up of them, and they're all having a different expression, and then the little boat comes across. I was like, wow, that looks really cool to me. I liked most of the movie because it had that Tim Burton like cinematic feel to it.
I'm not saying it can't be wacky and zany, while also feeling cold and dull. Because it does have Tim Burton in it, okay? Like his feel to it. I'm not denying that. But this has the Tim Burton that I don't like, which is the one that we got for Alice in the Wonderland movies. That's not necessarily his fault. I think it's just what people want from him now.
No, I hear you. I have a quick question when it comes to that.
Yes.
When you have a moment, can you look up the price difference in making this movie compared to the first Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, I can pull that up real quick. That shouldn't be too hard. I'll see if it's actually on this list right here. Hey, there it is. Because that came out 5 years later. That one was a $200 million movie.
Okay, and this
one is 150, if I remember correctly. 150 million, yeah.
Okay. The only reason I ask is because this movie is a lot more practical effects than this movie does. So, in the next,
in a sense,
yeah, and then in the next movie, everything is CGI. So, pretty much.
I'm not saying there's not the wacky and zaniness of Tim Burton in it.
Yeah,
it's just everything is very cold, and I don't like it because it just. When I think Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I think of bright vibrance and like a bright wacky. Tim Burton is good at like, I don't mind Tim Burton's movies being like colder and duller. Like some of his best work has some of that kind of tone to it, but it's still wacky and good in its own way. I'm just saying this one doesn't work because A, the source material, and B, fucking Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Okay. I mean, I don't blame you on that one. Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka in this movie. Willy Wonka was the most jarring part of this film. Only because he's a completely different person from the first movie. Like,
well, and it's not just that, it's just Willy Wonka you like in the first movie.
For the most
he's
part.
Weird, and you might be like, he might be a bit of a dick. But at least he's entertaining and kind of cool about it.
Yeah, me watching the first movie, I thought Willy Wonka was like, I've made a deal with the devil, and now I just have to listen to what he says, or else I'm going to get hurt.
Kinda. And he has those moments where like, oh, don't do that kind of thing. He has those moments. This one never really has those moments. Most of his is like him kind of like stammering to say something not to do it. And it's like, it's what you would get if the Mad Hatter and Jack Sparrow had a child.
I don't think so, because the big problem I had with this movie was like, well, not problem, but like the I figured this Willy Wonka was just socially inept. He spent his whole life isolated and alone, so he tried to portray it as someone who had absolutely no idea how to interact with actual real life people. And while in the next movie, or in the last movie, the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, he is definitely much more of a well put together person. Like he's more scheming. It's what we need now is a third version of this movie. Um, Maybe like Charlie Wonka and the Willy. I don't know, and the Willy Factory.
No, shut the fuck up. Get out of
but
here.
the idea is that way we can have a third version of Willy Wonka, and then we can have our Joker triangle discussion about which
No,
Willy
because
Wonka.
like I don't like his Wonka. It's just it's irritating. It's grating to me.
Is it now? Do you not like it because it's Johnny Depp, or do you not like it because that's the character, the choice that Tim Burton made?
Yes.
Okay.
There are certain things like I'm not discrediting Johnny Depp here. Okay, he's had some fantastic roles, obviously.
Still one of my favorite actors, actually. So,
but like, what this was after the first Pirates, right? I believe. Let me look this up real quick. Maybe it's on this list right here. Please be on the next page. It is not. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Pirates.
2003.
Yeah, 2003. Yeah. Since then, Depp's performances have always been the guy who runs into things and is kind of weird with how he talks about stuff.
I mean, you're not entirely
outside
wrong.
of Grindelwald.
He's been fairly typecast for the past couple of years. It's just
For
this zany person.
decade. This is over a decade that this has been his role.
Same difference. It all feels the same.
And I think I was tired of it because at this point for me, because like I don't know how my brain was already done with it because it was just like this. I don't find anything enjoyable about this performance, or at least this portrayal of the character.
Mm.
And I just don't like this world of it. It's so dull. And like,
I feel like, well, so I think the problem you're having is the lighting choice, which
I think that's probably it.
Yeah, because the last movie was done in a warm lighting style where everything, like you said, is warm and inviting and glowing. Like, it just, there's like this warm yellowish hum to everything, which isn't really something that, it's hard to explain. But when you get to the new movie, it's almost all done, it's bright white, it's very cool lighting, and it almost feels more clinical, I guess. Like you're in a factory under fluorescent light bulbs, and
which
it washes everything out a bit.
It just isn't as enjoyable for me because it's just like it feels like it's missing something. Like because the parts that are supposed to be vibrant, even like that are supposed to feel vibrant, don't. Like there's the part in the factory with the inventions. There's the part inside the with the boat. The boat I didn't enjoy, even though it's probably the most vibrant point. It just feels like here's something kind of silly.
Mm-hmm. It was better, like even though in the first movie nothing really happened with it, like nothing really made sense of what was going on. Like there was no visual of what was happening to them, but they're all like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on?" Huh. In this movie, we actually got to see what was going on.
Engines are going, yeah,
but it wasn't nearly as exciting.
No, yeah, exactly. There's no tension to it. It's just them going through it. It's just them on a water ride in a theme park, and it's just there. I also like, this is nothing against who played Deep Roy, who played the Oompa Loompas. I don't really care for the Oompa Loompas in this version either.
Yeah, that was another reason why I brought them up last movie too, is because in the first movie, this was like part of the inspiration to my YouTube channel. Is this one guy who filmed himself a handful of times, probably at least 20 times in different spots, doing the one scene. I'm here, I'm doing this, and then the next scene I'm doing this, and then like
The part for me, like for that too, that's jarring is sometimes it's seamless. Like they do not look like they are cut paste into the same scene, right? They actually look like they're all there.
well, it's because they sometimes that is the case. Sometimes they have just one camera angle, and he does different dances in different cuts,
and it's cut really well. While other times, where like during that exact scene, like it does a wider shot, and they're all on the hill, and I can like my brain is picking the lines out. Yeah, like I can see that they were put in there. Like it's just it was one of those things that I'm like, I don't see. Like, it was an inconsistency, a VFX inconsistency. Usually it's CGI that I have the problem with, but this time it's actually a VFX thing where it's just like sometimes in the scene it's good, sometimes in the scene it's not, and my brain goes, just pick one, please. Because if it was bad throughout, I'd have no issue. But like, there are times where I'm like, I can't tell which one would have been filmed first or not, or which one this shot was like. Because like, there'd be a way to tell which one the shot is originally from, right? That they used and cut the other ones into. Because I could tell that on the scene where like the one with the yellow helmets at the top. Yeah, the ones coming like down the sides with him during the scene, kind of.
I believe. Yeah.
That one, I could tell that he was the one was in the shot, right? And the rest were added. I don't know what changed from that, but it just did. And I don't know. It's just like the scenes that are supposed to feel like the music too. Like, I don't know. I don't.
I was actually going to ask if you like the modernized music over the more classical music. Especially
I prefer the Oompa Loompa songs.
They're both Oompa Loompa songs.
You know what I mean?
The Willy Wonka originals.
Yeah. I've got a story for you.
But you didn't like all the references that they can make in their music, like the Beatles and the Beatles. Maybe a Kiss reference. Definitely an AC/DC reference in there.
I didn't know.
You didn't like all the references in here too, like the 2001.
Well, and they cut some of the stuff too. They cut stuff from the original, and still somehow this movie is longer.
Yeah, like they cut the whole conflict with Willy.
Yeah, so they cut a entire side character. They super cut the ticket finding.
That was that one I'm a little mixed on because there's definitely not a world building in this movie where it's like, oh, this is happening outside while everyone's scrambling to find the tickets. That definitely doesn't exist in this movie. But I also at the same time kind of enjoy what they did because without that stuff, they could add in more to the music scenes because I thought the music scenes in the original movie were kind of lacking. Especially the weird ones like the first and the third one where we go from a full-framed movie to a pocket of a movie and then there's text flying around everywhere and I'm like, this really takes me out of the cinema feeling. So
I don't know, man. Like I have so many critiques over this one because like the other one, like despite me not having a lot to say, comparing the two is when my mind goes like, how did you get this from that? Because like there's a lot that gets cut, but they add on stuff that doesn't add to this.
I agree with that too, because when I was watching this movie, I watched it the way we're reviewing it today. I watched Willy Wonka first, and then I went to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, especially after watching Willy and the Wonka, I was like, wow, Willy and the Wonka is heavily religious. It's very much a metaphor for, like becoming religious and being a good Judeo-Christian. One of those words. And in this movie, it was just to entertain people. Like, there was no real metaphor or meanings. There was no, like, thing to do. It was just, hey, this seems like a good idea, and let's do it. And part of me has critiques for things too. Like, for instance, they reference 2001: A Space Odyssey. While I find that interesting, I don't think it's a good reference. Like, they're not doing it because they think it, like, they love that show or that movie and they think it's a good like tribute to it. They're doing it because they think it's funny and it'll make their movie better because people know of 2001: A Space Odyssey, and then they'll think the quality is better because they think of that song. It's something that I thought of a lot recently, actually, when in regards to Ready Player One, because when we first reviewed Ready Player One, I loved the Shining cameo references and stuff in there. But in retrospect, after watching it again and again and again, I'm like, they just kind of threw it in there because The Shining's really popular, especially after reading the book, or technically listening to the audiobook. Because The Shining's not in the audiobook at all.
Well, also the fact that like Warner Brothers had another movie coming out soon called Doctor Sleep, so hey, work that in there.
Exactly.
I mean, I feel like that one's less. I feel like with The Shining though, it's less egregious than putting a fucking candy bar as the monolith.
Yeah.
That one, like that happened. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't know. It like that happened. I'm like, you didn't have to. You could have done something else there. You didn't need to reference 2001: The Space Odyssey this time. We could have not.
Yeah.
But you did.
And it's also with like the Beatles and other musical references. Like, they allude to other greater things to be like, hey, we're cool too.
Nice. We can relate to this.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It feels like it feels like a cold copy.
I can give you that at times. There's still things I appreciate more. Like, I do actually like the science in the invention lab, because I liked the way it looked. I like how they took it up and made it less Dr. Seussy, but still made it interesting. And
I prefer the Dr. Seussy.
I hear you. I do. One thing I actually really appreciate with this movie too is the character designs themselves. Like, I figured you could look at each and every one of these characters and know their names almost. Like, you could see this movie and be like, oh yeah, that's Veruca Salt. That one's Violet. Like, they all have a very distinct look and feel to them. While in the original Willy Wonka movie, I felt like they all like, we're in the 70s. We're all 70s kids. Like,
yeah, but they all have a distinct look too.
Like, they don't look similar, but the costume design and like just their whole get-ups feel different, where they're more defined in this movie.
Veruca Salt wears the same exact shit in both these movies.
Well, yes, but I'm not saying every character is better. But I'm saying that overall, I felt like each character has a better facade and design than in Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory.
I have to disagree with you on this.
I'll give you that. I don't want to get into the argument why.
That's fair.
Because we're not going to get into a resolution. But,
well, I know it's not necessarily an argument. I feel like you've made your point. Can I make my point as to why I like the other ones more?
Sure, but then I'm not going to comment.
Fair. So I think the other ones are more lively because, like, Mike TV is like really into westerns in the first one, so he's got like a cowboy outfit on, and in this one he's just a kid in like a long sleeve shirt. Charlie wears a bright red shirt throughout the movie. This one he's got a very dark, I can't remember if it's dark blue or if it's black, but like it's a dark shirt the entire movie. And he doesn't feel like he's there half the time because like he is not the focus by any means in like any scene after we get to the factory in this movie. So he just blends in with the dark backgrounds. You've got Violet, which that one I could go one way or the other. I will say that one. I do like the original Violet costume because like it looks more like when she gets inflated, it looks more like a balloon or like more like a blueberry. Well, this one, it doesn't work because like they eventually go to a CGI thing that I don't like. So it's a toss up because I do like the design. And the mom pairing, I think that's cool. That's a good choice for a remake. That one I'll give. But what's his name? Gustav?
Augustus Gloop?
Augustus. Augustus is just wearing a striped shirt instead of like stereotypical German garb. I feel like they're more defined in the first one overall. Like out of the 5 compared to this one, where like 3 of them are just wearing shirts.
I hear you.
Like just t-shirts or like long sleeve shirt. They're all wearing long sleeve shirts. So I'd have to argue my point onto it, but we don't have to get into it any deeper. But that's just my thought on it.
Well, I mean, like I will get into one other thing and say like, never mind. I don't have anything.
No, go ahead.
I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, we could. Yeah. So, that's your opinion. That's mine.
Fair. I mean, I was just stating my opinion on it. I just like the first one's better.
I hear you. One last question that I have in that. Where do you feel the inspiration for this movie is visually? Because the last one is very Dr. Seussy. I like obviously this one's more like supposed to be. It's Tim Burton making a Tim Burton thing, and he has his own ideas of designs and sets and stuff like that. But like, do you feel like he had an inspiration behind the set design and things like that, or do you just feel like he was just trying to be Tim Burton?
I think he's just trying to be Tim Burton. I don't really know what it would be referencing to.
I kind of agree with that. The only thing that I could maybe see him trying to show, like, is a dark side of Disney, but that's a far stretch. That's me trying to like grasp at straws, be like, I need to come up with a direct comparison, and I don't because there is none.
Yeah.
Tim Burton, I agree with you in this instance. I feel like Tim Burton definitely decides to do his own thing, and I think that's part of the reason why it's not as good. Because at least with the other movie, it was I can't remember the guy who directed the. I'm gonna say Wes Snyder. It wasn't.
It's the director was Mel Stewart.
Mel Stewart. What happened was in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Mel Stewart was like, "Hey, let's do Dr. Seuss, but the Mel Stewart way." And in this movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Tim Burton was like, "Hey, let's do Tim Burton."
Let's do Tim Burton in the Charlie Chocolate Factory way.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I will say, you could put this version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory into like a Tim Burton universe.
Absolutely.
You could just drop it in there. But
like a glass elevator through a ceiling.
Sure. I mean, we reviewed a couple things, but you could put this into some of his other like movies universes, essentially.
I feel like you kind of have to. Like a candy that never goes bad has to be a
well, like you want to know one that make that like honestly the universe I feel like this could just easily have been dropped into was Tim Burton's Batman universe. This feels like the same kind of cold, but it works for Batman because it's Batman. Mr. wearing the Batman shirt right now. You're wearing the Tim Burton Batman logo, which is a good choice. And like I think that would have been like it would like this kind of tone works in that kind of universe. For me, it just does not work here. Like, I think it's just because it's trying to be a kids movie in a sense, and it's aimless. I don't feel like there's a direction on this movie. Like, I know the last one didn't exactly have a direction to it, but like this one just feels like it exists to exist. to profit off of something that was made before.
I mean, I don't entirely blame you. I feel like that's a lot of Tim Burton's career now. Like, originally it was to create original things, and now it's to remake things in his own special way.
I mean, one of our lines legitimately comes from a Tim Burton movie.
Ooh.
Let's get ready to number.
Yeah, that pissed. I remember
Gotta-
us like being so pissed off about it. We were like, we have to make fun of this.
Gosh. Yeah. That's why we have the.
Let's get ready to
That spawned this. Tim
That's it.
Burton is the reason why this exists. That button. Like, because we were just okay. What the fuck? And it's just like I'm not like I don't want to shit on Tim Burton because he's done a lot of great stuff. But man, there is some stuff where it's just like, did we need this? Did we really?
Well, what else came out in 2005? Let me double check that real fast. No, I can't do it on that tab. Another
An X-Men movie, probably.
tab.
Maybe Spider-Man 3. No, it would have been before Spider-Man 3. I think Spider-Man 3 came out 06.
Let's see. Batman Begins. King Kong.
Oh, the Peter Jackson one.
The Robots animated movie. V for Vendetta.
V came out that year too? Oh, wow. We reviewed a lot of these movies that came out this year.
Land of
That's
the
weird.
Dead. That's a movie that I put in there because I like that movie. Oh, Sky High. That's a movie we need to review at some point.
No.
Hitchhiker's
No.
Guide to the Galaxy. Yes, we're gonna do it.
No. Hitchhikers, I remember that.
Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Really? Oh no. Okay. First, I saw Jack and I was like, Incredibles didn't come out in 2005.
No, it's the Jack short.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack Attack.
Exactly. Let's see. The Fantastic Four remake, I think. No, that's the
No,
Chris Evans
that's the original. Oh, that came out in 05. That was the superhero movie that year. Oh man,
there's
2005
There we go.
was.
Fantastic Four and Sky High. There's a movie pairing. 2005 hero
Oh God, no! We are not doing this.
movies. Ooh, Son of the Mask came out in 2005.
Oh God, that was.
So, out of all of those movies, I'd say this one has a spot being there.
Right in the middle. It's probably dead middle. Because there are definitely movies better and there are definitely movies worse. It's just, again, this movie for me, there are other Tim Burton things I'd enjoy. This is not it. I just do not enjoy this. And it's too, I think my problem with this is just, it's too lifeless to me.
Okay.
Like, I think that is just my general consensus every time I watch this, is just that, like, it just consistently feels dull and lifeless. And even when it tries to be zany, there's not enough of it there for me to care.
What if I told you that people say
There's a-
that this is the better, more accurate version of the book?
I don't care.
Wanted to
Doesn't
make sure.
matter.
Even though it's closer to the source material, which you're always so proud of.
I mean, isn't the source material supposed to be a kid's, like, lighthearted story?
Well, it says to this that the themes and the stories and the characters are much more, are a lot closer in this movie than they are in the original Willy Wonka.
Well, I never read it, so fuck you.
I can appreciate that. That's not how Jeff judges.
Because this one I also don't think was necessarily going off the book. Because it was I think it was trying to recreate the magic of the first one, the original movie, in some ways.
Maybe.
Because the movie is that influential.
I mean, maybe, it's hard to say, honestly. I mean, you're probably more likely right, because people are like, this movie didn't do too good. Let's make it do better.
But it's a cult classic. Like, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is, by definition, a cult classic. did not succeed in the box office, but over time has gathered a following.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you that. Yeah. I mean, we like it.
Yeah.
And we weren't bored when this movie came out, so. That's part of the reason why things become cult classics is people grow up and they're like, oh, what's this? And they're like, oh, something. So, popcorn kernels?
Yeah, I'll give you yours.
All right. So for this movie, I'm going to give it. Are we adding kids point on this one? I don't think it needs one.
I mean, it's a kids movie.
I guess. Like
It's PG. It's aimed at kids.
it's true, but it's not. Just kidding. PG, yeah. So we'll give it. So with the kids point, that puts it up to.
I'm giving it a 5,
All right.
which puts it at a 6 overall. Let's move the fuck on.
Hit me with the spoiler button because we still gotta talk about
Oh,
spoilers.
Get ready to spoil
Ah! I don't wanna.
Well, too
I
bad.
don't like it. I don't like this movie. Ah!
So
I would have given a 4 without a fucking child point.
I guess the question I ultimately have is, do you prefer? Well, I guess what did you think of the backstory for Willy Wonka?
Oh my god, I hate it all. It's such unnecessary garbage.
But they decided to put that in instead of the world building. They wanted character building.
I don't know why. Willy's not supposed to be the main character of this movie. Like, it's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, I mean, the other movie's called Willy Wonka, and Charlie's the main character.
Yeah, but like, is he in that one?
I'd say he's more of a main character than Willy Wonka is. Especially because
Yeah.
it's Charlie going to school and Charlie's
Okay,
endeavor to
fair.
get money and
Fair. Then why the fuck do we spend the beginning of this fucking movie with Charlie still then? Why not just start from the golden ticket? Because I swear to God, this movie, you can legitimately just take Charlie out from when they get to the factory to when he's the last child, and nothing happens differently.
The only difference is there's no fizzy lifting drink.
Yeah, the only thing he does in the original movie.
But that's part of the reason why, I got the very religious connotation in the first movie, is because he does do something that would get him expelled and lose everything. And then he repents and gives up one of the one of the two reasons why he was there was to get the gobstopper. So he gives up wanting to, turn over, betray Willy Wonka, and then he is reborn as the heir of God and taken to the heavens in that giant magical elevator with everything his heart and dreams desires. Well, in this movie,
but in
we
this
don't get
movie,
that.
what does Charlie do?
In this movie, Charlie is still the main character, but not really.
He might as well not be in the factory.
I mean, and I could see the idea of, I know they do my feeling is they do the flashbacks. I don't know. My belief is they do the flashbacks is because everybody loves the Gene Wilder portrayal of Willy Wonka. So he needed to give a reason why, in the movie, why this Willy Wonka is so much different than Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka. So we got to see his backstory and him growing up to why he was the way he is.
Okay.
Why,
I can see that.
why I feel that is
I'm with you.
important in this instance is because in the beginning of this movie, we get to see how much the Button, is that their family name? Mr. and Mrs. Button?
Bucket.
Bucket. Thank you.
Charlie Buckets.
Yes. The Bucket family. They're the bottom of the bucket. They're scraping by. The only thing that they have is family. So we get to see that in the intro. And it's not quite as well explained as in the Willy Wonka movie, I'll give it that. Because the Willy Wonka has the whole world building family part together. But it shows early on, I guess they assumed that they got enough in the first 15 minutes of the family dynamic and how that without Charlie without his family is no Charlie at all. So, I don't know how to connect things from here to make it sense for other people. Make it make sense for others. Things make sense to me. So the idea is that because he has had such a terrible life with his family, he was essentially abandoned. Oh wait, he sees it. Or Willy was. So, oh, God. I was going somewhere.
I'm following.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm still along. I'm just waiting for me to talk. Don't worry. I'm building up my discussion part of this, okay?
Okay.
Abandoned
Mm-hmm.
is where you left off.
I'm trying to remember the beginning. Why did we start the conversation again?
Because Charlie might as well not be in the factory.
I mean, sure. The whole thing is supposed to be from that point on, because we got to see the with a family and then without a family thing. You get to see the two sides of the same coin type thing. Essentially they can be the same person, or they could have been the same person, but because one took one path and one took the other, they need to try and explain it and get it all together. Like, don't get me wrong, Charlie in this movie could have been anybody. Yes, I'll give you that. But he's what's important in this movie because he is the goal for Willy. If it wasn't for Charlie, Willy would never have seen the error of his ways. Like, this is something I give a little bit more to the original movie, because Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory shows that Willy Wonka in his room, literally his half-man room, because he's half a man in a room with half a thing. He has no purpose to his life now that he has things, and he's trying to find a reason to go on, and his reason is to find an heir to help bring more candy and everything to the world. In this movie, it's the same idea, only he's not portrayed as half a man. Willy Wonka is. Jesus. I keep saying just Willy, and then I think Willy the Whale.
No one else is gonna think that.
I know, but it's just me, because reasons.
Yeah, I know the reason why. I played Sea of Thieves with you.
I know.
I'm not on Sea of Thieves brain. Why the fuck are you on Sea of Thieves brain? Have you been listening to sea shanties? Because that's the thing going around.
No, but I want to play.
Fair. You don't need to keep saying Willy Wonka. We know what Willy you're talking about. All right.
Yes.
Fucking, I hate this fucking movie. I see what you're getting at, but give him something to do, because
other than, like, the closest thing that I can compare this Charlie to would be, what was her name? And there's not Megan Fox. There was another superhero movie we watched recently that was like superhero or Transformers or something, where the main woman character was just like a damsel in distress. She was like, I don't know. All of her dialogue was like, I'm a tough chick. And then the whole rest of the movie was she's a damsel. Can't remember. Either way, doesn't matter. Like,
hold on. I'm looking back.
Charlie is our vehicle in this movie. Like, the way I see it is in the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the older version. It's more
Prince of Persia. You might be thinking Prince of Persia.
You're right. Thank you.
Don't worry. I got you.
Yeah. I'm the boss-ass princess who could do no wrong and save the day. Help me, Prince! Help me!
Yes. That was that character.
Yeah, and in this movie, like, she's kind of the vehicle in that movie to get us, the audience, going along. And in this movie, I feel like that's Charlie's purpose. Though he should have more purpose, I'll agree with you there.
The princess had more purpose in Prince of Persia.
Yeah, the princess's purpose was to give the dagger to him. And be the damsel.
Well, not just, no, but also that, like, the princess actually did things in the movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie doesn't do anything besides be a child, be given candy, find golden tickets, walk around a factory for a fucking hour, win the factory, say no, go back to family, and then you know, walk with Willy to his dad.
Yeah. Like, I think the idea here is like, I still agree. I'm not going to disagree with you. I actually 100% agree with you. Charlie should have done more in this movie. But I think the idea was he's just supposed to be a looking glass, a mirror for Willy Wonka, where he could see the traits in Charlie that he wants, like the traits that he has, I should say, like the inspiration.
What traits are those? We don't know, because the character isn't defined in any fucking way by doing something.
It's the things that he says that it explains. Like, he doesn't do anything, no, but it's the fact that he understands Willy Wonka's zaniness.
I know who I can compare Charlie to.
Who's that?
Fucking Light from Death Note movie.
I was about to say, Light Yagami from the anime?
No. I just figured it out. It connected because we're just told he's this way, but we don't fucking see it. It's just, I figured out why I don't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory anymore. I figured out the connection, why it just gets worse. It's cold, it's boring. I don't like it. Charlie is a young Light. I made the connection.
He snapped. Everyone go home. Just kidding.
He's fucking Light, dude.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, they don't show us that
movie.
Yeah, they don't show us that he's smart. He just understands. He just listens and talks, and yeah.
We're told he understands.
Hey, there's an argument with Mike TV and him where he's like, "Well, this is dumb," and he's like, "No, it's not. It's candy. It doesn't." But no,
that isn't.
Yeah, no.
Character defining. That is a one-off line. Mm-hmm. That could have been given to anyone. And
this time around, he didn't cheat.
Because he was never given the option. No. Shit, they play off the gobstopper thing like someone has it in their pocket, like partway through this.
Yeah, there's moments.
It goes nowhere.
Yeah, there's moments where Veruca and her mom, or sorry, no, it's Violet and her mom are looking at each other like, "Ooh, the gobstopper. This is the thing. This is the thing we need." And then yeah, it goes nowhere. Like they.
But they never set up goddamn fucking Slugworth the entire time. We never see anyone like Slugworth show up the entire time. How? I don't get it.
I mean, they're mentioned in the very beginning, you know, the Vulture swindlers who stole all of my life's work. Yeah. Once again, we're told about it and not shown it. But hey, they do interesting things, like the dad now works at a toothpaste factory.
Instead of being dead?
Yeah.
Hey, fantastic. Cool. Really adds to the fucking story.
It adds to the whole family dynamic.
Did we need more of the dad backstory of how he learns to fucking, in a week or some shit, learns to repair the goddamn machines that replaced him? Because we live in a capitalist society when in reality, if our world was better, I'm not going to get political this time, but, you know, if we had, you know, we own the means of production, then when, you know, automation is put in, then we make more money on our own. But, you know, that's just me. That's just my thought process. But, you know, whatever. You know, it's just like, this is bullshit. I hate this fucking movie. I hate it. 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 I hate it.
But it has Helena Bonham Carter's beautiful face.
Dude, I kind of want to dock points the more we discuss it in spoilers. Like, I'm not going to.
Mm-hmm. But no, that's the point of the spoiler section. They get deep down and gritty in the nitty grittiness.
But because I've made my Light connection, I finally understand why I have like grievance toward this movie. It is arguably my biggest pet peeve is we're told this character is like this, so they have to be like this. Mm-hmm. Unlike being shown they're like this. It was the same thing when we talked about when we did book club, when we did the Catching Fire, is that the last two?
Yeah.
We did the last two Hunger Games movies, and we did Maze Runner. Maze Runner, I felt we were shown the characters doing things and being smart, like everyone, while in Hunger Games, we're mostly told they're the icons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's a problem that I have talked about before,
Yeah.
that I do not like being
It like it's
told to
screenwriter
feel
101.
this.
It's show don't tell, and they
especially
weren't
if it's the main
shown.
character.
Mhm.
I can be told other things. Like, I'm
Like-
fine with exposition from time to time and stuff like that.
I was about to say the one thing I didn't bring up, which I thought you were going to talk about, how you're so proud of me, but nah, I'm just in my own head about my own self-worth. Of how I didn't talk about the first couple of minutes of Willy Wonka, where the whole first song is just an exposition dump about who Willy Wonka is.
Oh, the Candyman?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. It's a musical and it's supposed to explain things, right?
But
This one we get
I
Christopher Lee's
prefer-
beautiful sultry tones as the narrator. I personally kind of prefer the musical intro explaining things.
I both do and don't. Like, I do because I kind of like how, like, it. I'm conflicted because with the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original, Willy Wonka himself doesn't have a lot of deep, like, character history. What we know about him is just that he has his factory and then he shut down and then that's it. So the intro song, that's only 3 minutes of exposition for him, makes sense. It gets everything we need to know about Willy Wonka done and over with, and it's a song which can be entertaining. So it's better than just your casual, we're sitting at a table and talking kind of exposition. Which is what happens later on when they talk about the factory and how it's closed down and all that other stuff. So, in this movie, like, if there was a musical intro instead of, like, the whole flashbacks of why Willy Wonka is the way he was, I'm not sure I would like it myself.
I don't think it would work in this one.
Yeah.
But that's not what this one's aiming to be.
Mm-hmm.
It also just goes to the fact I like the other one more.
Of course. Yeah. Is it nostalgia? I'm just kidding.
Yes. I'm not afraid to admit that there are some nostalgia points thrown in on there. I've never been one to shy away from nostalgia points.
That's true.
Shit.
That's
Sugar that shit in there.
Out.
Fuck off. Some of them, yes. Some of them are just really good movies. And some of them just don't age. You know?
Mm-hmm. Just give me until the end of the month. I'll give my Lord of the Rings ratings a higher rating once I watch the 4K version. Just kidding. I'm really kidding.
I hate you.
I know, it still bugs you, I could tell.
They deserve to be all 10s. I'm just telling you.
10s across the board. Okay,
Especially compared to The Hobbit. Anyways,
is
I don't know.
anything else?
I guess the note I'm gonna leave on is this is not for me. It will never be for me, and I'm okay with that. This is probably the last time I am ever going to watch this version of the movie.
Okay.
Unless someone else puts it on. And
Even
in which
if your
case
child
I'm
wants
over.
to watch it?
I will make them watch the other one.
But Dad, we've seen
They
that
won't
one.
know this one exists. I swear to God.
I'm just picturing, like, I'm honestly, like, based on how people talk about certain movies and certain franchises, it's like one child is like, man, have you heard of this? Have you heard of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? It's like, no, I've only ever heard of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's like, oh, wow. Well, it's one of my dad's, blah, blah, blah. I was like, really? One of my dad's favorite movies was, I don't know, The Fantastic Beasts. And that kid's like, I've never heard of that. What is that? It's like, oh, it's a Harry Potter movie. There's more Harry Potter. Like, yeah, because that movie doesn't, yeah. I'm just picturing futures where people are like, oh, I didn't know that existed. Even though it's very common knowledge.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm done talking about that. Let's move on. You
Cool.
want to talk about
Let's
the
move on.
news?
Sure.
All right.
You mean Snyder Cut news? Snyder Cut news. Snyder Cut news.
There's more than just.
Yeah, but let's be real. What shows up every fucking week with something new that we can talk about? Fucking Snyder Cut.
So
You want me to take it away with that then first,
sure,
or should
go
we?
for it, since you've already started talking about it.
It's gonna be a 4-hour movie instead of 4 fucking hour-long releases, which I don't know which is worse.
I would honestly say just the 4 1-hour-long releases, because because then they would be like, all right, here's episode 1. A week later, here's episode 2. A week later, here's episode 3. I just want it all at once so I can watch it in my own pace. So I could sit there for 2 hours and be like, okay, I can't.
I mean,
stomach this
let's
anymore.
be real. We would have just binged it all at once, anyways.
Maybe, yes, but still.
I mean, what I would have done is watched it all as it released, and then on the final day, which is what I'm going to do with WandaVision, is just watch it all again. Like back to back to back. Dude, I who fucking said watching 4 hours of unfiltered Zack Snyder movie is going to be a good idea? Who the fuck? Warner Brothers, do you really think this is the play? I'm genuinely curious. Because, like, that is. We still don't even know when this is releasing.
We don't. At least not completely. But we have heard other news about it, though. Like, a bit of news that I have here is actor Harry Lennox talks about having to do a couple of reshots for his role as Martian Manhunter in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, they're actually going to add, because he was supposed to be Martian Manhunter in the original cut, but that got cut legitimately, because that was they were setting up with his character in the first two, like in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, as the general. They were setting him up as like, because like kind of side tangent, like in Supergirl, they kind of do the same thing with John Jones. And it would make sense for the comments of the original posters, unite the Seven, which didn't make sense when we watched the Justice League that was released a few years ago, because there's just 6 of them.
It says here, like in this article from IGN, that he wasn't really cut. I mean, he was cut, yes. But the main reason was he didn't get to do his filming of his scenes because he was filming a movie called The Blacklist. Henry Lennox didn't get to film his Martian Manhunter scenes because he was filming The Blacklist. And then it was after he finished The Blacklist, Snyder had left the film. So They were just like, don't matter. We don't care.
Yes, which, again, part of the things that probably hindered this movie originally. Not to say what Zack Snyder originally planned was going to be some goddamn endgame levels of shit. It wasn't. It's still not going to be. I know people who say that it's going to be better than Endgame. Your high hopes are too high.
Oh, yeah.
Lower them by a lot. Because this movie is going to be longer with more bullshit. I'm just throwing that out there now. It's a 4-hour fucking movie, which means that is the only thing we're talking about that episode, by the way. I'm putting that out there now.
We're not going to watch the second movie. If we have to watch 4 hours,
fuck that. No. We did one just for Endgame. The longest fucking episode we ever like really had was Endgame and The Hobbit when we did all 3 of those in one.
Yeah, there's a reason why we haven't done The Irishman.
Yeah. No. I'm still probably going to fucking veto that if it ever comes up in conversation, because I'm like, there are other movies with similar topics we can cover that are
with the exact
shorter,
same actors,
which are shorter and better. Just throwing that out there. Man, 4 fucking hours, man. I'm just with the Martian Manhunter in there, and I know like Greg Miller's over here like from Kind of Funny yelling, make it 5 and shit like that. I mean, at this point, fuck it, might as well. I mean, who the fuck cares anymore? But it ain't gonna save with the fucking DCEU. This is not gonna save it after 1984's flop and other news in the universe that you may have already pulled up, involving Ray Fisher.
I did not pull that one up actually, but go ahead and start talking.
Ray Fisher is now off of The Flash. So Cyborg's future up in the air. Who knows?
I was about to say, I heard possible rumors of him being recast altogether from Cyborg, and I mean, there's also rumors of freaking Henry Cavill. I mean, someone else being cast as Superman for Man of Steel 2. Can't remember whose name that
But
was.
Henry Cavill's like as I've stated during these, I don't think Henry Cavill is a bad Superman. I think that Zack Snyder is a bad Superman director. I think that was my problem with those movies, straight up. Because the moments Henry Cavill got to be Superman, they were fun. They were good. I like Henry Cavill because he's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
I love fucking shotgun arms. One of the best things of 2019.
Absolutely. It just fit.
It just worked, dude. Fucking reloads his arms to punch you. Shit's dope.
I've pictured someone's gonna make a freaking Mega Man movie, and then someone's gonna have to do that like Buster reloads, like.
Well, what's gonna happen is he's not gonna have it, and he's gonna do this, and the Buster cannon's gonna pop out.
Oh god damn it!
But it's fucking cool. Henry Cavill's just cool, all right. He plays on PC, automatic like gamer cred right there. When he was asked, what console you play, he's like, console. I play on PC.
Yeah. Xbox, PS4, PC.
Like immediate cred right there in our wheelhouse.
Man, if only I was a better gamer.
He's goddamn Geralt. He's great. Don't recast him as Superman. Just fucking hire him as Superman. People want him as Superman. That's never been the problem with the Superman movie that you made before. The problem with the Superman movie you made before was the fact that it was directed by Zack Snyder, who doesn't want to make a Superman movie.
You're angry today.
Maybe watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is what you get.
Are we ready for our next bit of news, then?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, we're gonna move off of Marvel or DC.
DC, don't you dare.
Let's talk about something not at all related to this stuff for a second. So you know how you like to end each and every one of your streams with like "be good to each other," wear a mask.
Yeah, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, wear a mask.
Yeah. Bruce Willis, diehard mask stance, as in he'd rather die than wear a mask, is facing vengeance because he keeps getting kicked out of different locations. Most recently, Los Angeles Rite Aid. He was kicked out of Rite Aid for not wearing a mask. I love it. Like, it's dumb because he's a famous man who is in the eye of a lot of people, and he sets an example for the world. It's funny because he sets an example for the world and got his ass handed to him. Not literally, not physically, but still. Yeah, so yeah, wear a mask. Not even famous people.
Don't be stupid!
Yeah, not even famous people can get away with not wearing a mask. You're not famous, so wear a fucking mask. There.
All right, next news. Let's move on.
Let's see. Let's talk about something else that's not related. Oh, hold on to this for a second, actually. Let's talk about some Disney and MCU and Star Wars-y stuff. Disney specifically. I have an article here. I just pulled this up because I thought this was like a no shit Sherlock type thing. This is from We Got This Covered, and I wanted to bring this up because it's titled Ahsoka series will reportedly be about the search for Thrawn and Ezra. Well, no shit Sherlock. If you've watched The
Yeah,
Mandalorians,
what?
yeah.
What?
If you've watched The
If you watch
Mandalorian,
Rebels or Mandalorian, no, really?
yeah. But this also brings up a question that I have. Well, not necessarily a question, but more of a debate. I feel like they've done Ahsoka's character dirty by having her age 15. I don't know the timeline, so I'm going to say about 15 years between the end of Rebels and the end of A New Hope, episode 6.
She should be in. How old is Rosario Dawson?
Let me just double check.
She was born in 79, so she's just in her, what, so, like, 80, so she's just in her 40s. That's about as old as Ahsoka is.
Okay. And I'm just saying there's a time difference of many years. I'm assuming. Hang on, it says here. I'm just writing this.
I think it's 10 years since Rebels, roughly, give or take.
So in that 10 years, I don't feel her character has changed much, if any, and that's disappointing to me. Same thing with getting her name, Mandalorian Queen, Bo-Katan. Thank you. Both of those characters have changed barely any, if at all, in 10 years. That's terrible character.
I'm gonna give an excuse to Ahsoka.
Okay.
She disappeared for like 5 of them.
Sure, I'll give you that. She was in hiding. Yes.
Not much she could do other than meditate.
Mm-hmm. Become very spiritual.
Yes. And the other 5, she was searching for Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Not much time to change your character much when you're worrying about a friend that you're just going after to find. And also trying to find one of the most dangerous fucking minds out there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ahsoka's developing really happened when she was younger.
Mm-hmm. Like
during Clone Wars.
Part of the reason that I thought about this is because I've been watching Star Trek Discovery, season 3, with my dad. That recently just released all of its episodes for this season. I think it's either the season finale or the halfway break. I don't know, but they've released a bunch of episodes, and I've been watching them. And one of the characters literally spends a year apart from the other characters. And in that 1 year, she's a much different character. Well, let me rephrase that. In that 1 year, she's a different character. I'm not going to say much different because the community of Star Trek would hate me. They're all picky bastards and bitches. That one.
Okay.
Just because those are not illiterate. They enunciate well. But the 1 year difference between the character is quite vast. And in this one, there's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And there's barely any change at all. It just kind of makes me a little upset. Though it makes sense, being that those characters were last seen in children's TV series. And they need to be adapted for the not children anymore, but still be recognizable and memorable. People didn't like what happened to Luke. So they're like, we're not going to do that again. With episode 8 and how he was different because they haven't seen him in 20 years on the big screen. So,
yeah.
I guess that was probably the decision making, like why they weren't going to let a time change really drastically change the character. But still, it made me upset a little bit. And that's part of the reason why I brought this article up. So yeah, there's that. Next piece of news.
I don't know. For me, it's just that, like, that's just getting picky. Too picky for me, personally. It's Star Wars, dude. What do you want?
I want better.
Okay, what do you want? Do you want prequels? Do you want Do you want sequel trilogy or do you want the new Disney Plus shows?
Think that through. I'm just kidding. There's no answer. There's no debate in that question. The new Disney Plus shows are better.
Yes, exactly. I'm happy with what we're getting. I ain't gonna complain.
So, keeping it in the Disney world, we're going to talk about Marvel stuff. An article from comingsoon.net says that the episode count and length for the new MCU shows, things coming out, have been released. So, like Loki and She-Hulk, they talk about the length of each and every episode. Ultimately, what it says here is WandaVision. Sorry, we're looking differently. We're looking at it as developing all of our shows as 6-hour episodes or 9 and 10 half-hour episodes, says Kevin Feige. So, for instance, WandaVision started that way, and Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to start as 30-minute episodes. But because it's streaming, it's Disney Plus, the rules have blurred over the years. Yes, some can be 23 minutes, and some can come much longer than that. But She-Hulk, for instance, is being developed as 10 30-minute episodes. Some will be longer and some will be shorter. But Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier are being developed as 6 40 to 50-minute episodes. So we kind of have words from Feige himself. We're talking about the different length and what to expect on the certain shows. So they're each going to be about the same length of time overall with the amount of minutes you get. But still, I am more looking forward to the Loki and Winter Soldier shows more because you can get more in depth in the character moments per episode. And that's kind of what I care about more. Rather than, like, overarching character development and story is important. But I feel like I'm greedy, so the more time I get per episode, I prefer.
Fair. Did you watch without spoiling anything, did you watch WandaVision yet?
Not yet. I'm waiting for my dad.
Okay.
I want to watch it with him, and he wants to wait for it to build up a little bit. So I'm not sure when I'm going to watch.
Oh.
It's driving me mad. He's like, I don't want to wait.
Just sit him down. Sit him down and be like, hey, Dev is going to say this, okay? This is coming from my mouth. Don't wait. This shit is... The first episode has one moment in it that is the hook.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that scene happens, I'm enthralled. I'm here. I'm hooked.
I think I know. I have a guess on which scene it is. Only because of that one day I logged into your stream and there was a WandaVision trailer as the ad. And I was like, no!
No. Nope.
Okay.
No. Trust me.
All right.
Nope.
I'll let it be then. Yeah, I'll
leave it be. But I'm just telling you, tell your dad to be like, hey, it is binge worthy if it built up, but like, it is so worth just watching it. Because it's the first fucking new Marvel stuff we've gotten in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the Marvel Studios thing pops up, you get this hit of euphoria that you haven't had in over a year. Has been building up, waiting to hear that fucking music.
I mean, I've watched a bunch of Avengers movies recently. I'm not
You know what I fucking mean, man. Like new stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm not as much as a fanboy as you. I'm so.
But like, dude, I'm jealous of you because you're gonna be able to watch it in 4K.
It's nice. I can't wait. It's so happy. I'm so happy to have a good TV.
Experience, dude. All you guys need now is like a sound system in there.
We have a 20-year-old speaker system that works pretty well, but my dad's like, I don't know, it works fine. We don't need to upgrade. And I'm like, you have no idea.
There's so much better out there, old man.
Yeah. There's still the old... I hate these fucking cables. I don't know why they decided it was a good idea, but it's those old cables where the ends of the wires are exposed and you have to clip it into the... Yeah. I was like, what?
Who said that was a good idea?
Somebody. So, anything
Yeah.
else about this before we move on?
Nope. Let's move on.
Okay, let's talk about some John Wick stuff.
We
So,
got John Wick.
John Wick 4 is talking about film production. Um, it says here, according to slashfilm.com, that if all goes according to plan, Keanu Reeves could be slipping back into his John Wick suit and murdering nameless henchmen very, very soon.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
They're suspecting here John Wick 4. Wait a sec.
Us?
Sorry, I just misread this. For a second there, it says this. You probably forgot about this by now, but there was a brief period there where we were supposed to get both John Wick 4 and The Matrix 4 on the same day. So we were supposed to get both of those movies on May 21st of 2021 of this year.
We would have back-to-backed that.
Absolutely.
That would have been a build-up. You know what we would have done? We would have done we would have just had a Keanu Reeves month.
Probably, yeah.
We would have had the three Matrixes. We would have had a Point Break in there. You would have had Bill and Ted in there. We just would have done it all. Oh my God, that would have been a thing. I hate. God damn it, COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been amazing. Oh man.
So
Oh.
it's saying here that according to co-star Ian McShane, filming for John Wick 4 starts this year, and it should release May 27th of 2022. So next May.
Oh, Matrix releases in December, I think. November, December. Man, I almost wish you didn't tell me that, because I want to go to the alternate universe where things were handled, and we got those on the same day. Because my God, that would have been that would have been worth me getting 2 VIP tickets that day, and just going like, all right, I got 2 VIP tickets. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna go into the first one with the drinking. Come out, buy some tacos, go into the next one, start watching that, eat my tacos, drink some more, drink another, just probably would have been a Granny Smith, like a bad Granny apple ale, which are pretty good, and just enjoyed life that way. Oh man, oh my life. you threw me something that I just that would you just.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
You're like, that would have been amazing.
My heart, man. Like, just the idea of that is just awesome, because it would have just been 4 fucking hours of Keanu Reeves shooting people and kicking ass. And you know what? That would have been 4 hours well spent.
But now it won't be.
I'm gonna have to do it myself at some point then.
Yeah, just Keanu Reeves marathon. There's one of your next goals. Your donation drive goals.
Yeah. That'll happen.
Other things though, still kind of related to John Wick. Parallel. So the writer for the John Wick series, Derek Kolstad, he has been asked to write a TV show for Dungeons and Dragons. So I don't know if it's like a specific story arc or if he's coming up with his own campaign, but using like the monsters and the spells and all the other like paraphernalia that's familiar to us when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, they're making a Dungeons and Dragons TV show. And it's apparently going to be leaded by Chris Pine. So that's interesting. And the reason I find it most interesting is because it is written by Derek Kolstad, the guy who wrote John Wick. And I'm not saying that I'm super stoked for it, because, like, can you tell me what the plot is John Wick? Normally. Like, what?
Which one?
Let's start with 1. What is this?
Someone killed his fucking dog. I'm gonna kill them.
Okay.
And then that person's dad is pissed about it.
Yeah, that's movie 2, right?
No, that's movie 1.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then the fight.
Movie 2 is that he gets hired to kill someone. I believe it's this lady. I think he's supposed to kill the lady in the bath.
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah,
but it's kind of a setup
because she's his brother, and then
and so he sends people after him.
Yeah,
and like he's essentially the rest of the movie is him trying to get back at that dude,
and
then him breaking the rules.
Yeah, and
taking out that dude.
Yeah,
and then the third one is him trying to deal with those consequences.
Yeah, the repercussions for breaking the rules.
And then them having a giant awesome fight at the end, and then setting up for 4.
So,
I know the plot.
Yeah, with that in mind, yeah. Do you think those are well written? Like, do you think the writing in those is very complex and things, and you think that'll lead...
You don't have to be complex to be good writing, good sir.
And lead to a good, like, fantasy-based TV show?
Well, I mean, you're talking about 2 different topics.
Yes. But, like, okay, hang on. 1 second. Hold on. Going back. Hang on. Let me click on the right name. Hold on. Hang on. Filmography. Okay, so... looking at things that this man has written, he has done so he did One in the Chamber, which was he did a rewrite for that movie. I don't know exactly what he rewrote, but he probably just rewrote the original screenplay that was written by somebody else. He did The Forge, the After School Special, and then he did John Wick 1, 2, 3, short of John Wick, and then, like, he doesn't have a lot of writing credits, I guess is what I'm getting at. And a lot of the writing stuff he's writing is action-based. Personally, what I'm trying to get at is I'm worried a little bit. Like, John Wick is a great movie, but it's mainly for me a great movie because of the action and the cinematography when it comes to said action, not the storytelling behind how they get to the action.
You're judging the book by its cover.
I am, yes.
Which previous things have proven that's not the way to go. People have said this actor can't do this producer can't do this writer can't do this, and they do it. That is what I'm going to point out. We don't know until it happens. So that's why I don't go into these things going like, this ain't going to happen, except for the Snyder Cut, because we know exactly what's going to happen with the Snyder Cut.
I don't know. It could be pretty great.
Shut up. You know it's not going to be there. I will eat my fucking words. I will write them down and eat them if the Snyder Cut is actually like some crazy good thing. But it's not going to be. It's going to be 4 hours of me and Steven going, okay, well, what? Why is this? It'll be more coherent than the other one was, but you know.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think we should judge anything until we see it.
All MVP.
Because like also the reverse has happened too, like with M. Night Shyamalan, and it was like, oh, this guy's a great writer.
True. He's had some pretty shitty stuff.
I'm just saying.
Let's say normally, for me, it's usually when it goes towards like, oh, someone great has done something and then it's shitty. Like that just makes sense. That's gonna happen. Not everything somebody makes is going to be great.
Yeah, but when you're batting under 500 on movies, like batting 500 in baseball is great. Batting 500 on movies, not so much.
Okay, so anything else we want to talk about? Because this is my last bit of news I've got here.
Got it.
Okay, so the last bit of news, it's really not much, but it's a release. It's a list of all of Netflix's movies coming out this year. It doesn't sadly have the days, like what months that they're coming out on, except for this month's stuff. But and some like 1 or 2 things from February, but it literally lists all of what that's coming. They plan to release this next year. And some of the things that I'm excited for are like Army of the Dead, which is supposed to be Let's say I'm pretty sure that one is Snyder, if I'm remembering right. And it's his second attempt at a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a bunch. There's a handful of horror things, but none of those really catch my attention based off of name. We've got a bunch of romance and a bunch of other great things. Like, I'm kind of excited for some of the things that are coming out. Like, let's see. When it comes to comedy, I'm kind of looking forward to what was called Thunder Force, if I remember right, because I think that was a plain comedy, but I could be completely wrong. They've got a bunch of random thriller stuff in here. One that kind of caught my eye that I was interested in, but I might look into, is called Night Teeth, which makes me think vampire movie or really bad porn.
Okay.
So I'm interested.
I'm just gonna say this: Netflix has not really produced anything that hooks me to why I would keep Netflix around.
Yeah. I hear ya. I mean, I recently watched the documentary that I told you about, the history of swear words, and that was funny. I really enjoyed that. It's like 8 30-minute long episodes on the history of the swear words, hosted by Nicolas Cage, and it was funny.
And that's fair. I guess more my problem is that everything that's on there, I can just binge it and then get rid of it.
Yeah.
Wow. With Disney Plus, and even now with HBO Max, there's stuff releasing that I want to see at that time, if that makes sense. Like, Disney Plus has episodes that release every Friday. HBO has movies that are within that 30-day time limit.
Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of, I love how times change, because I remember at the start of this show I was like, fuck Netflix, it's awful, and then halfway through the show I was like, it's not bad. Around the same time I was also like, Disney Plus, there's nothing on it other than The Mandalorian season 1, and now it's just like, ooh, Disney Plus, let's watch all this stuff. Like,
I said HBO Max isn't gonna have shit to do. That was the thing I said when it was announced. I'm like, what are they going to put on there that isn't going to be already in theaters, or that we aren't already able to watch on a different thing? And hey, guess what? They announced the Snyder Cut, which sold me on getting it at some point, and then they said their entire movie library for 2021 is going to be on their same day release day. So, I mean, that kind of sold me on them.
yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see Godzilla versus King Kong on the same day?
Seriously. Who doesn't want to see that movie?
That's like the main reason right now that I have HBO Max. It's just like, I need to see that.
Like, that is the most turn your brain off movie that's going to come out this year.
And I'm going to hate it, but I want to see it really badly.
You hated the last 2 Godzilla movies.
I know, and I still want to see it.
You either bitch about there's not enough human aspect or there's too much human aspect.
Let's see if they
Same
balance
thing
it
with
out
Kong
this
and
time.
Skull Island. They're not going to. It never happens. Just enjoy the 2 monsters punching each other.
Until they team up to fight Mecha Ghidorah.
I swear to God, if that's actually where this goes, I'm going to be so fucking hype.
Are you really? Are you going to be hyped, or are you
Yes.
going to be mad because I called
No,
it?
because they set up Mecha. They set up Mecha King Ghidorah.
Mhm.
At the end of the last one, I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. I liked the last one, despite everyone else.
Mhm.
I liked the monster fight parts. I admitted the human aspect was kind of meh, but like, I still had fun because I don't know, monsters punching monsters. What more do you want?
Or punching.
Shut up.
All right, that was the last of the news I had. Anything else you want to talk about? Are we done here? I feel like
I think we're done.
Yeah. We talked a long time about news, but it's okay
Yeah.
because we didn't. Yeah, it was good. It was okay. We were fine. All's fine. All's fine in love and confidence. Talking words. I'm done. Yeah, I got nothing else unless anything else you want to say before I end
No.
the show. No,
That's all I got.
all right. Let's kick kidding. We gotta talk about next week.
No, right. Yeah. Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Saiyan and Dragon Ball Super Broly. I can't wait. We're gonna get some good animation. One of these is just a dumb movie. The other one is a fun movie.
I have no idea.
Because have you ever seen any of the Dragon Ball movies before?
I don't think I have actually.
Wow. Well, this is my treat, buddy.
Like, it's strange now that I think about it, because I've watched all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and most of GT, but never watched the movies.
Wow. That's actually kind of impressive.
Right. Like, I remember watching Dragon Ball, the abridged movies, and I was like, when did this happen?
The movies are their own little timeline.
Yeah.
I call it the Icarus effect.
They flew too close to the sun.
Actually, he has this fucking stupid goddamn dragon. But they all take place in that universe. And I do appreciate Abridged because they kind of work it into their universe as best they can.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of works. But then they make fun of it when it can't.
Vegeta, no, Vegeta, yes. No, sorry.
Or the this is so non-canon it hurts. For a Triomite. But I just look forward to it because, like, mostly just because I get another reason to see Dragon Ball Super Broly again, which is just so goddamn good.
Yeah, that's next week.
Yep.
And until then, bye.
God, I fucking hate light. Goddamn buckets, light buckets. He's a light bucket. I hate it. 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 I hate it.
I was trying to think. Is Broly just talked about how amazing he is? I'm just kidding. We're showing how amazing he is. It's fine.
By the way,
No, I'm editing things now. Oh God, no!